The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus departed to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. When day came, he called his disciples to himself, and from them he chose 12, whom he also named apostles. Simon, whom he named Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, John, Thomas, James, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, Simon, and Jude, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. He came down with them and stood on a stretch of level ground. A great crowd of his disciples and a large number of people from all over Judea and Jerusalem and the coastal region of Tyre and Sidon came to hear him and be healed of their diseases. And even those who were tormented by unclean spirits were cured. Everyone in the crowd sought to touch him, because power came forth from him, and he healed them all. The Gospel of the Lord. This morning I had Mass at St. Agnes before I came here, and we discussed 9/11. We said there was one big difference. Most of the folks at St. Agnes could remember 9/11, 2001 very, very well. They remember where they were. They remember the shock and all of the emotions that took place on that horrible day. I said, now I'm going to Newman. Most of you don't remember. You know why? You weren't even born, were you? How many were born in 2001? But you don't remember, do you? It was your little babies at the time. But it was like when my father would tell me stories about World War II. I'd say, oh, that's like a million years ago. That's ancient history. And I couldn't really feel or understand what he was trying to tell me. But I know, for years, when a plane would go over our house, my father would dive under the table. For years, those memories on D-Day, and his friends that were killed, but it didn't mean enough to me then. 9/11 means something. I was lucky I wasn't there. I was in Michigan in law school, but my friends were there. The fire chaplain, the police chaplain, firemen, the policemen, the first responders. They were there. We lost over 3,000 people in New York City, in trade towers. We lost people in the Pentagon in Washington. Lost hundreds of people in the plane that went down in western Pennsylvania. It took months to get through all the funerals of the police and fire and first responders that were killed in those events, especially in the towers. When bodies were disintegrated, their survivors only hoped for a piece of a bone or a tooth to have a funeral. I remember going to one months later. I think there was a tooth left in a coffin. And the fireman's picture was on top of the coffin, the little boy saying, "Daddy, Daddy." That was the horror of that day. I remember going to the site of the World Trade Towers that went down. There was nothing but a hole when I got there 6 weeks later, a hole in the ground. And the smell was just awful. It wasn't just smoke. It was debris and the stench of evil. That event was evil. That's when the devil triumphed. Or at least he thought he did. Some of you might look at pictures and see where two beams had melted steel beams.
They melted and they molded together, and they formed a cross. And a photographer just happened to be there and watched firemen and police kneel in front of that cross. I thought that's what it must have been like at Golgotha, to see the horror of that day when our Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. It looked like devastation and hopelessness. How could such a horrible thing happen? People ask, where was God? Where was God? The answer is, that cross proved, and those men praying, that God was indeed there. And that even out of his horror, that God would bring some goodness. The immediate effects, although horrible and devastating, the immediate effects were that America came together. There was no more racial divide. There was no more conflict between rich and poor. There was no more political infighting. There was no more people insulting each other in Washington, trying to destroy people's reputations, trying to ruin people's families. America came together. And that was an immediate effect of the evil that became so obvious on 9/11. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the site where the towers once stood. There is now the Freedom Tower there. A very powerful museum now exists about 9/11. And a memorial wall and a reflecting pool that reflects the names of those 3,000 people who were murdered that day. There was, in a sense, a resurrection. What's there now is a testimony to the American spirit. And we were not destroyed, but we are a strong people, and a people that God has blessed in a unique way. The lessons of 9/11 can never be forgotten. The memory of my father diving under the table can never be forgotten. But we do forget, because people go back to their own mean and petty ways. And people forget what this nation stands for, the greatest nation that the earth has ever known. They forget what it means to be a free people. They forget what it means to be guaranteed life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Instead, they focus in on a flaw or a few flaws that this country may have, and forget all the good that it stands for. And of course, there are those who always want to turn a profit and make money to mock America. Who do I refer to? Someone like Colin Kaepernick, disrespecting the flag. That's disrespect. And Nike trying to make money on the greatness of this country and say, this country is flawed. When there are flaws in this country, we work to make them better. We work to correct them. We do not mock the flag of the United States. Do not make a mockery of the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. Those documents are our documents. They are our birth certificates. And they give us the rights that we enjoy as American citizens. I'll say one last thing. Question for you. What is the job, the greatest job of the President of the United States? Is it to get people jobs? No. Is it to ensure that there is a border wall? No. The greatest job of the President of the United States is to make sure that this country is secure. And if for nothing else, whether you agree or disagree with the President's policies, you must pray for the President of the United States every day, that he will fulfill the vows he made at his inauguration to protect and defend this great country of ours. Never forget. Never forget. Never forget. God love you.